Well, that was fucking boring. 93rd Academy Awards post-show discussion starting right now.
What's going on, guys? We usually go 30 seconds because, that's what we do, but our technical team, just like the Oscars, wasn't as sharp, so we're getting it up now. Here we go.
Chris, I just wanted to say that one joke that you just made already gave me more enjoyment than this entire fucking whatever the fuck the last 3.5 hours that I had to sit through. First off, I was lied to because they said it was going to be a quick show, and they still somehow ended up going over, even though they put all the songs in the furlough. I should probably restart that and introduce myself. What's going on, people? Movie nerd, TV nerd, talking TV. It's the Oscars 2021 post show. We actually just sat through that slog. And I'm not even being coy about it. I'm just making my thoughts frontmost and forward right now. Like, that sucked. That was really bad, even by typical Oscars standards. Chris, so is this the second ceremony that you sat through all the way? Like, have you watched Oscars in the past at all? Like, do you have any history with it?
Yeah, this is, I think, my fourth now that I've seen. I pretty much started watching when I started going to film school back in 2017, so I've seen a few. I think I only missed like half of one year one time. So, I've seen the same show about 4.5 times now, pretty much.
Well, I mean,
same show, different movies.
It's the same show every fucking year. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Brian Beebe, who automatically comments he didn't even know the Oscars were tonight, which I just love, considering the fact that they went out of their way to do this giant marketing push saying, oh yeah, this year's Oscar, it's going to be a dedication to stories and filmmaking, just more of the usual pretentious, hypocritical bullshit that the Oscars usually do. And this guy didn't even know that they were on tonight. So first off, props to you, Brian, for managing to avoid the fucking torture that we just went through. So props to you for that overall. And yeah, this is a train wreck. I'll just say it right off the bat. This is the first actual Zoom or virtual kind of whatever, different kind of post-show award show, post-COVID that I've seen. I didn't watch the Emmys. I didn't watch the Grammys. I didn't watch the Golden Globes. I heard the Emmys did it right. I heard the Golden Globes was terrible. And this ceremony, I mean, I can't necessarily speak to the technicals as opposed to the other award ceremonies because I didn't watch them, but I can definitely say that I was bored out of my mind because it's another award show. What was the appeal here? I don't get it. What was it here that was supposed to be so different? I really don't get it.
Yeah, I don't understand their whole marketing in regards to being, I don't think bigger and better, but certainly different and offering something refreshing and new. Clearly, they switched the traditional Best Picture being the last award to be announced, then they went with actor and actress. And there wasn't musical performances to kind of cut in and out of, and so that honestly made it a little more dry. I just don't really.
Yeah.
You talk about the Grammys, and I'm like a huge music fan, and obviously a musician myself, and it's like I only watch the Oscars. I've barely watched the Grammys. I think I stopped watching those when I was 2011, a junior in high school, playing music for 9 years at that point, realizing that when bands that have no guitars, drums, bass, or human vocals were winning Best Rock Album, something was up. And I guess as I went to film school, I had hoped maybe that it was only the music industry that couldn't quite grasp the awards show thing, but here I am talking about the Oscars, and I can't say it's any different.
You know what it is that annoys me? It's not even the fact of necessarily, the ceremonial production sucked, which is kind of hilarious considering the fact that Soderbergh was being touted. Steven Soderbergh produced this ceremony, and he was being touted as the guy that was going to save it. And either something went really right as far as just him realizing that award shows are hypocritical and bullshitty and don't mean anything, and he just went out of his way to pull off the ultimate troll, which if he did that, all props and respect to him in the world. Kind of sucks that we had to suffer through it, but at the very least, I give props and respect to a Hollywood legend that's able to pull off that level of a troll. But if he actually was trying to fucking make an actual ceremony, big miss. Big miss on his part as far as that goes. And it really sucks because I don't want to take anything away from the nominees because yes, even though of course The nominees I personally thought were great this year. I really, really enjoyed the overall lineup. It still kind of sucked that there were, of course, other incredible movies that didn't get the recognition they deserved, like Time and 40-Year-Old Virgin and another round missing out on Best Picture, and a bunch of other movies that we didn't even get a chance to see that none of you have probably even heard of that didn't get a nomination. But that's the story, right, as far as award ceremonies. It's why, in my mind, award ceremonies should just go away in general. My problem is with just this award show and my realization of the fact that the inherent problem that comes with it has nothing to do with forced diversity awards or with Hollywood's own sense of self-importance or anything like that. It has to do with the fact that they're just boring. They're just really fucking boring. Like,
Right.
It's a bunch of Hollywood celebrities that are rich, that are in dresses, that get up and make speeches about their art. And it really sucks because even the guys who you feel like the working class people that deserve it, you feel like even they're not getting voice, So, that's, to me, is what kills me every time I watch one of these ceremonies, is we're only literally seeing the Hollywood elite. Like, not even just the elite, the elitist of the elite get to perform their own sense of self-importance. And the fact that they can't even put on a good enough show in order to compensate for that, to me, drives me fucking nuts. But, that's just, initially off the bat,
Yeah, no, I feel that, man. It's sad because I think that takes away from the art and the people and the stories and the diversity they're trying to prop up because they're just so aggressive and they true openness is accepting all different points of views, and obviously Hollywood has only its one train of thought. And so I think the mindset of the town takes away from the genuine nature of the creators that go there to work and create art. Because what actor comes out against the grain and continues to work? There's two of all time that have survived not having the same shared ideology. And so I think I don't know if they realize that or not. To be honest, I though didn't think this was the most of the the past Oscars have been way more political. I
Right.
think even though they somehow went over their time, they were sort of quicker to get from award to award, which was solid. And the nice thing was the presenters, for the first time in a long time, didn't speak the majority of the time. The creators
was
actually
nice.
spoke.
Which
So
was
I
nice.
actually really liked it for that. So they obviously always will have their agenda. They're always in the pocket of, certain ideologies, and that's just going to be a thing. But at least we didn't get so much of that shoved down our throat this time. We actually got honestly, man, everyone got about a solid 3 to 4 minutes to speak, and it felt like such a long time. And I love that because that's who I want to hear from. I don't want to hear from Jimmy Kimmel up there talking about some shit that he's in a tax bracket where he could actually never understand people like anyone that isn't, one percenter like him. So it was actually really nice to hear the artists, especially how much time they gave the short films and the documentaries and the small independent animations. That was actually really cool. I do have to give them props for that aspect of it tonight. But overall, man, I think what really showed to me, because again, I don't think this was the most political, and I think it's because the artist actually got to speak for once, so they want to just talk about their art and what they did to get to that point in time to receive the award, which was nice. That was actually refreshing. But I think without the theatrics, right, without Lady Gaga playing one of her songs from her new movie, or without just some old rock and roll queen coming up and doing a song or something with Adam Lambert, you just see what it really is. And it's just a bunch of people stroking their egos for the world to see. And it's different companies like Gucci and Armani and dressing up these people in these outfits and walking the red carpet and promoting their brands. And it's just the machine turning and grinding its gears. And when without the charade, I hope a lot of people can see it for what it is. It's not why we watch art. I don't watch art to say you're better than that artist for that reason. I watch art because I want that artist's opinion and that artist's take. I want to enrich myself, not make them battle for a best something, Does that make sense, man?
I think that kind of, again, exactly what you said, the dog and pony show is revealed for what it is, which is just artists being self-congratulatory and self-awarding. And if anything, it just makes me super sad that basically comedians are basically banned from just anything related to award shows for fear that they might say something cancelable, because it reminds me of the fact that of when Chris Rock hosted the Oscars 5 years ago, and he fucking crushed it because he's an actual performer who's actually funny, And it sucks because if it were up to me, I would literally just have it all be like, forget like just other actors, it would be like entertainers, people who can like actually present, like there's a reason why the Oscars was like the most widely watched show for years, because they had actual entertainers like Billy Crystal, like Steve Martin, and people, and like a couple of years that Hugh Jackman did it, and Ellen before everyone started hating on her, and fucking like it was at a time where like people actually knew how to put on and make it a show and make it an event. Now, again, part of it is just obviously due to the whole social mediaification of it all, and social media, again, kind of killing everything that it is that we love about entertainment, but it is still the fact that Hollywood obviously has proven to be completely awful at keeping up with the overall, just, keeping with the times. Obviously, they've always been behind the times, and this is just the obvious show. Yeah, Dustin, you're right. It was the fucking worst. Of all, like, the bad award ceremonies we've complained about in the past, this was easily the worst and the most egregious. Yeah. And
it's sad, too, man.
I was waiting for just any excuse I could possibly get to, like, click off it and watch something else, and I couldn't. This is the one instance where I wanted to be distracted, and I couldn't even get that, Now, as far as the nominations go and the winners, I'll say the two biggest surprises were, again, the last two, where they saved the last two biggest surprises for the end. Cool. It's still never going to top Parasite, because everyone knew Nomadland was going to win from, like, the minute that shit was released. And fucking, yeah, honestly, yeah, I agree with that 100%. The Neil Patrick Harris and the Franco Hathaway show, widely hailed as, like, the worst show award show. And first of all, I never understood why everyone shat on Neil Patrick Harris. I'm one of the 5 people that think he actually did a fantastic job hosting that ceremony. And because that was like right when How I Met Your Mother ended, that's when he was like still in people's good graces, like before he kind of just disappeared. And the Franco Hathaway one is hailed as being the worst Oscar presentation ceremony, and even that was more entertaining. That's the award ceremony where the King's Speech beat the Social Network, and even that award ceremony was at the very least more entertaining to watch than this one. And yeah, as far as the awards wins goes, like, yeah, Hopkins and McDormand are the most surprising ones. Hopkins being the kind of last minute surprise when everyone thought Boseman was going to get it for his posthumous performance, and then McDormand purely for the stats game. It's funny because at first everyone thought it was going to be Carey Mulligan because she was winning the first couple of awards, then Viola Davis won the SAG, so everyone thought it was going to be her. But I had a sneaking suspicion, and my professor brought it up, and he ended up being right that McDormand won it. And the only reason I love McDormand in Nomadland, she's great in it, but it is solely for the fact of now she's officially beat Meryl Streep as far as having more Best Actress Oscar wins than Meryl Streep. So now she's right behind Katharine Hepburn because, again, what else is there to care about other than Oscar stats, And other than that, pretty much every award went the way that I thought. Supporting people were Daniel Kaluuya and Yoon Ye-jun. From Minari. Director was Chloe Zhao. The screenplays were The Promising Young Woman and The Father. Mank won cinematography. Soul won animated feature. To me, that Tenet won visual effects, which, as I said, was the only award that movie was ever getting nominated for, because Christopher Nolan, making his thoughts very clear on the whole shift to streaming, made Warner Brothers go that, and the fact that Tenet was not the most well-received movie made Warner Brothers completely just not at all campaign that movie, like, at all. Not that it probably would have gotten anything to begin with, but like, I don't know, like were you surprised by any of these nominations? 'Cause I don't think we talked a whole lot about like what we thought was gonna win and everything. I pretty much had my thoughts on what the winners were going to be. And like I said, my two biggest surprises so far are Best Actor and Actress being Anthony Hopkins and Frances McDormand instead of Chadwick Boseman and Carey Mulligan, like I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think, it's one of those things where I've seen a few of these movies. I haven't seen all of them because, I just, sometimes I think that these movies kind of step on their own feet in regards to like the messaging just being so strong and sometimes maybe not fully fair in regards to like the way they sort of rewrite history. It's been my case with a bunch of Oscar style films. The Sorkinization, I will, and I'm not speaking about Chicago 7. I'm speaking about his artistic style, where he can take a very intense historical moment and somehow make it this like heroic movie feel court thing at the end of 7.
Hollywood-esque feeling.
Yeah, I don't like that. I think that's disrespectful to the source material. And with the way that Hollywood's moved to be more socially and I think politically charged, I feel it's such a strange strange dichotomy where they can't see the error of their ways, taking this very sensitive material, which I do think needs to be spoken about and talked about, but sort of completely stomping all over it and making it like this theatrical, mystical moment. I'm not just talking about Chicago 7. I'm talking about so many of these films. That was actually one of the things I love Black Messiah for, was I felt being a very true representation of what I've read and seen and learned in school and history and classes in college. So I actually really liked that film for that, and I was glad it kind of got some love tonight. But yeah, man, I don't really like ranking art. Like, I kind of want it to be a part of the Oscar post show right now to say, why do we want this? You know, I want to ask the people in the chat who are watching. I see the numbers kind of going up and down, and we're averaging a small amount. So why do you guys like watching this if you're here? You know, you tuned in to get further thoughts on what you just watched. Why? Ask yourself why you need validation from the people in those movies to see if you like them. I mean, it's art. You don't need to, like, if you disagree with someone, it's okay to disagree with them on their art. It's meant to spark a conversation, you know? I just don't understand the whole allure of it because, I mean, see the machine, man. We love it. We love movies. We love talking about them, but it's not a perfect industry, and we're not going to lie and be these fictitious or, you know, phony critics and just praise the ceremony for the elegance and the way that they handled everything. It was a poor production. It was boring. It was stagnant. They had the same 5 camera shots over and over again. Questlove really did all he could with the needle drops. I thought he did a great job, but there's only so much you can do to save a sinking ship. I mean, I don't know. Am I wrong? Like,
No,
let us
you're
know.
not.
I
You're
just,
not.
I
And
just,
you know
I
what
don't
it
get
is?
it.
You know what it is that fucking drives me nuts more than anything else about the fucking forced diversification? And I'll say it because that's what it is. It's forced. It's Hollywood, again, self-indulging themselves and making everything about woke politics, which is shit that they don't even believe in or care about because they're a business overall. That's what drives me nuts more than anything else, is because it's the same type of problem that comes when you see all these other industries starting to get into it, which is it diminishes the merit, which is all that should be fucking praised or respected when it comes to it. And this is something that I've been saying since the beginning. It's the fact that ultimately, at the end of the day, yes, it's awesome that Chloe Zhao won Best Director and Best Picture, and that's great because Nomadland was fantastic. But fucking, it raises questions ultimately as far as why did she win. And I hate to be that guy. I hate to be that guy to ask that. But with all of the forced wokeness and diversification, which we know, it is not a matter of us like throwing darts at a dartboard. It is a fact that we know and confirm that Hollywood is hypocritical and full of shit when it comes to the woke and the PC culture and everything, right? Because we know, because we're not stupid, because we're intelligent human beings and we understand how this shit works. It completely, to me, diminishes the overall merit and the hard work that someone like Chloe Zhao puts into something like Nomadland, or that Emerald Fennell puts into something like Promising Young Woman. That is what kills me more than anything else about kind of the gender and political rush that Hollywood is going through right now. Because I said this before about the American Air. When I heard about the American Airlines thing, is that they were going to be putting more of a push into more diversification when it comes to pilots. That's great and all, but ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't give a shit about who's flying. I care that they're qualified to fly. That's what I care about at the end of the day. I care that the person who is making the shit that I like is both qualified and can make something that is good and is deserving of all of these awards, and that can actually, make something that is compelling and worthy of discussion, That's what fucking kills me more than anything else.
So yeah, to your point, I think the problem with awards shows is simply put, it's not as cut and dry as like being qualified to fly a plane. It's subjective, and it's meant to be subjective. So why are we determining what is the clear and objective winner? It doesn't make sense to me, right? I mean, if you can look at a Picasso painting and I can look at a Picasso painting and we both stare at it for 5 minutes and we come back with 2 completely different self-reflections on it, is one now wrong and is one right? Is one wrong because the Academy voted the other one correct? I never understood it. I never understood it with the Grammys, with the Golden Globes, with any of these things, man. It's just insane because, like, I love Nomadland. I said to you, I said, it's the greatest movie I'll only ever watch once because I cannot go through that again. That's how emotionally provoking that film was to me. But what they do with their campaigns and with their words and with the way that they have to infuse their beliefs and impose them on every single person watching, they just ruin the art for me. And I love Oscar style films. I hate the whole hubbub around it with the Oscars. And that's like the thing. And that's why I don't watch as many as I normally in recent years as I probably normally would have had I continued down the path of going to film school and then obviously trying to work in the industry, which was the plan when you're in film school. Because it's like, man, once you kind of grow up and you start really like paying more attention to the stuff behind the movies, it's just they really can ruin it for you. Because I think Nomadland deserved it, but I also think Judas and the Black Messiah deserves to be acclaimed. I also think The Father deserves to be acclaimed. Everything I've heard about that film seems to be brilliant. I think all of them deserve it. So why are we making one the clear sure winner? I just think it's so stupid. It's kind of like what Harrison Ford said when he was talking about Blade Runner and how subjective it is to people. The critics were bashing it. They didn't understand it. They were making fun of it, saying it was terrible, this, that, and the other thing. And at the end of the day, man, people thought otherwise. It's one of the most coveted science fiction films of all time. Yes, I also felt that, Dustin. I thought his speech was the exact reverse of what Hollywood normally is. It was so opening and welcoming, and it was awesome. We need more of that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like what Harrison Ford was saying too. It's like, so look, it's not about who's best or worst, really. It's about these films will live on and have a legacy of their own because art will, grow and change as people change and time progresses. And we don't need some academy to tell us that. It's really what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, it's
because
just look.
Because let me just say this before I toss it over to you. We might have different political views in the chat. You might think what we're saying about the political nature of it is different. That's fine. We can agree to disagree. I don't even care about that. I just don't know why we're making art fight each other. To me, that's stupid.
Look, at the end of the day, we're human beings and we like competition, and competition ultimately is fun, even in art. That's why these award ceremonies exist. That's why these things exist, obviously. And besides the fact that the whole entire Academy Awards is just a sham in order to provide more publication for movies, motherfucking StreamYard again. Stop doing this. Seriously, this is getting annoying. It's annoying ultimately at the end of the day because, like, yeah, competition is fun, and obviously, crowning kind of the one movie to rule them all or whatever is fun. Like, at the end of the day, obviously, yeah, there are going to be other movies that are better than others, but fucking, I don't care. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I want to watch the shit that I like and not have to deal with fucking some guy telling me, oh, yeah, but did you notice this about this movie? I'm like, oh, maybe, cool, if it, like, sparks my attention, it, like, gets me to think about it in a different way than I would have otherwise, I would have been like, yeah, that's cool and everything, But, like, the fact that we have to have, like, this one overall end-all, be-all and have all this fucking political BS that the people who I'm watching don't even care about, and that doesn't even make any sense half the time, it doesn't even work half the time, it annoys me, and it kind of depresses me overall, because it just fucks with the shit that I like.
Right, art, filmmaking. And you know what I will say? It's like those people are very fortunate. They worked hard and they got to a position where they're some of the richest people in art and creativity. But I just hate how they try and speak for everyone because different tax brackets have different ways of living. And look, more power to them.
That annoys me more than anything else.
Like, I respect their hustle, their hard work. Every single person in that room worked hard to be where they are. We know how hard it is to create art. I mean, it's so hard to run this YouTube channel, let alone how could you imagine being in a film of the proportions that they're in? Sure, I respect it, but stop talking down to me or trying to tell me how to think, because we have different views when we walk out in the morning, and I'm very fortunate and thankful for the life I have, but I'm just saying I'm still not living in Malibu, like watching the acres of rolling hills of California out my window and having butlers and people do everything for me. So it's annoying. It's really annoying. But I think with the reviews and sort of the ratings numbers that are coming in, I think without the theatrics too, maybe we can get away from award shows and just go back to appreciating art.
Look, all I know is that absolutely no one watched this ceremony outside of, like, the people that we have in this chat. So maybe the one consolation is that the fucking reviews and awards and numbers are going to be so low that they just cancel the Oscars, which, honestly, I'm never in favor of cancellation, but if there was one thing being canceled that I'd be in favor of, it would be the Oscars.
Yeah, man. I mean, I guess, like, it seems we're sort of wrapping up here. Thank you guys for joining us on our Oscars post show. Sorry if it was a show you expected to join to hear us gush over this or be frustrated that that won or that lost. That's kind of not really our angle, I just want to get back to, you know, art that is free of scrutiny or labels. I don't want to feel bad because I like a certain project because the Academy has a collective hive mind of thinking one way and be forced to like a certain movie because of that same hive mind. And I think as soon as these ceremonies go away, I think more positive discussions will happen around movies, film, and TV. Because honestly, man, Dom and I talk about it all the time. Whenever I go on film Twitter, film Instagram, film Facebook, it's just bickering
It's
and
the
fighting.
worst. It's the worst.
It's not why I like art.
It's
And
just
I
the
have to
worst.
think this battle for first place is a part of that negative cycle on the internet.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just a guy on YouTube.
Anyways, what were your guys' thoughts on the Oscars in general this year? If you even watched them, you probably didn't. Yeah, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Talkin TV Podcast. We'll have Mortal Kombat clips for you guys throughout the week. We have our Face Off first time watch on Wednesday. That's, oh man, it feels so long ago that we did that, but it is still so refreshing.
I can't wait for them to see it.
I might go and watch that afterwards, honestly, in order to just wash the bad taste of this ceremony out of my mouth, because that shit is still might be the most fun and entertaining thing I think we've ever done collectively for this channel. And that'll be up on Wednesday. Make sure you click the subscribe button and the like button and the bell next to the subscribe button. That way you guys get notified every time we put up new content.
And hey, most importantly, if you do disagree with us and you're watching this post live stream where we can't answer you, let's have a respectful conversation in the chat. But be polite, and let's be better than sort of the majority of people who try and engage in these conversations on the internet. Let's have a nice civil discourse in the chat. I would look forward to that. And also, if you guys agreed with our points, let us know why.
Yeah. Hashtag cancel the Oscars, 12 seasons in a short film, and watch more fucking movies. We'll see you guys next time.